Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Phillip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Hello and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm Darren Moser, along with my fellow Strandees, Daniel Prue and Phillip Gilfus. Gentlemen, how is it going? It's almost Discovery time.
It is. Woo! It's been I don't know. I don't know how to do Discovery.
And as you're listening to this, it'll be September 1st, so now's the time to actually invest in that CBS All Access because you put it off until the month of September, like I did.
So I'm not saying that I'm not going to do that until the day before, hoping that there's going to be a possible HBO Game of Thrones type of leak situation. But I'm not saying that I'm doing that, so we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure you can subscribe the day before, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but see, everyone's going to subscribe the day before, and then what if their servers crash because they can't handle the bandwidth?
See, I think you should have, I'm trying to remember, I don't think Live Journal did this, but I feel like you should have a number of when you signed up to All Access, so then when you go to conventions, you can be like, oh, you're All Access 99475-283.
That's never going to become a thing.
I'm All
Phillip,
Access
never.
238. So I mean,
nobody cares when you signed up for All Access.
Nobody's going to brag about when they gave
Good concept,
CBS their
bad
money first.
execution because that's not going to happen.
Hey, if you sign up now, you can be eligible to enter the contest to go to LA for an early Star Trek Discovery screening and meet the stars. That's true, actually. I have to enter that.
Now, Phillip, how
what
is
if you
your... Win? Yeah, you're like, free airfare to L.A., and I'm like, well...
And housing, because I know people.
Yeah. So, Phillip, how are you doing on your Enterprise rewatch? I know I had about a month left.
Yeah, I know. I did some binging on one weekend just to speed things up. So I don't know exactly what the episode number, but I'd say I'm not halfway through season 3, but nearing it. So
about a season and a half left.
I can't remember the exact name of the episode, but basically it's the one where they're at the weapons facility, and they meet the one of the Xindi. No, not yet. He is in that episode, but they don't talk to him. It's when they talk to the people who are contributing the ore, the mine, or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, where they're like on the ground underneath that ship that's landed. Yeah, I remember that one.
So it's kind of getting, things are going. So, I'm not I'm on the record as not being a Xindi arc fan, but I've not been anything too objectionable so far in season 3. It is what it is. Except, in seasons 1 and 2, during the theme song, now of course my wife and I would sing along and jam out using our air guitars, but in season 3. The up-tempo we're not too crazy about, so then what we do instead, we do Dance Party. Which is, by the way, that's a lot of it's an aerobic exercise. It's a long theme song to Dance Party too, but that's what we do.
Hey, you know what? I am on record, and this may be a minority opinion. I'm actually not sure. It's probably split pretty evenly. But every time Trek changes its music in the intro, I don't like it.
Oh, you're one of those.
I prefer the original Deep Space. Deep Space Nine theme song as much as I could prefer the original Enterprise theme song. I do.
How Saturn's rings morphs through the starfield in the Next Gen intro.
Oh, it has always bothered me. That is always.
How did I know?
He hates change.
Hey, just recently, real life news here. The Saturn Cassini probe is plummeting towards Saturn's atmosphere now, and we got our first images from inside the rings. It's amazing.
Yeah, it looks
check
amazing.
It out.
I've seen images. The Voyager intro. What more do I need to?
Yeah, it's a little different than that. It's a little slightly grainier.
See, next time they need to
Not
send
as colorful.
2 probes right behind each other, so one can film the other probe going through it, like the documentary probe.
And one should be in the shape of the Enterprise. Yes, exactly.
It's a Klingon vertebrae selfie.
Oh, bringing it back.
Going way back. Wow.
Okay, well, we're going to get started on our topic because I'm breaking my rule of Darren doesn't make really long list shows, and we're going to make a really long list show, but I promise it's not nearly as long as I think it's going to be. So today, we are going to be talking about the Star Trek movies. There are many of them. Let's quick count Roman numeral check. 13
hold
of
on.
them.
Before this whole Roman numeral thing, this has always irritated me, and maybe it's just me. I'll have to get the group opinion on this. All right, so there's 1 through 6, obviously. Okay,
Right.
and then we go to the next gen movies, and then we go to JJ, Kelvin, whatever you call them. Okay, it irritates me, and I see it. I mean, I think this is. I mean, it's not canon because this is real life, but like on the markers for past 6, they keep going. Like Generation Star Trek 7. I'm like, no, it is not Star Trek 7. This isn't Star Trek 9.
Which marker?
Like when they do the like actual markers when they're filming. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You mean the
Is that
slate?
true?
Slates,
Oh.
yes. It irritates the blank
That's
out
silly.
of me. I mean, I do not believe in using Roman numerals after Star Trek 6 because that is no longer the sequel.
Okay, so but presumably you don't have a problem with Roman numerals by
Rome
themselves.
knows what it
after
did.
6. Like you.
Oh.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Philip. I think that they. Well, I don't think
It's kind of like folks
true that they
who
stopped
it's almost, it's not the same level. It's slightly above the level of people who are like Doctor Who series 6. I'm sure you mean Doctor Who series 35. I'm like, nah, I think we know what we mean.
Yeah.
That's
It's
exactly
like,
what it is.
if people ask me and they want to start a podcast, one of the first advice I give them is don't use Roman numerals because it gets really long and it's really hard to read. Like above 10, nobody wants to read that. So, I mean, if you use it in your podcast, that's on you. But I know many where they're into the 200s already, and it's crazy because it's just like LXXMMRX. Maybe not an R, but it's really long, and we will never use Roman numerals for podcast numbers. It's anything open-ended like that. It's not a good idea.
I'm sure there's a website that will translate it for you. Now, Darren, you say anything open-ended like that, and I have to ask. This is begging the question, slightly related. We are eventually going to get a Star Wars X at some point now that Disney owns them. I mean, are you going to not be okay with Star Wars 22XLV's
Well,
Super Bowl number right after
I'm
it?
fine with it, but notice how the branding has really shifted where they're not calling it Episode 7. They're really pushing the title name. And Star Wars has always kind of pushed the titles, especially now that we're not going back and forth. Like, it's not like which number are we jumping to?
Did we? I mean, because the last one we just did was Rogue One. Which did
Wait.
go
Are you
back.
telling me there's going to be a sequel, Rogue 2? And then it's just...
Then we're doing Han, which is also going back. And then now that we're doing a Kenobi, which is again going back then forward. I mean, Darren, come on, be consistent at least.
I'm not in
You are
charge
definitely
of
responsible
Star Wars
for
franchising.
all the Star Wars.
If only I was, Daniel. If only I was.
I guess my point is this, Darren. I think Star Wars should have followed your advice and not used Roman numerals, but I think it's too late for that. That ship is sailed.
Well, I say ship.
So, but yeah, no, it is a good point, but we will see what they do. But movies come out a little less often than podcast episodes. I mean, it depends on your network, but yeah.
But Star Trek movies.
But Star Trek movies, yes. So there are 13 Star Trek movies, and we are going to hypothesize end credit scenes. Now, that was not a thing back in 1979, first one?
Sure.
Yeah, 79. So, it was more like 2008. So, a little bit different.
Potato.
I mean, I know, like, the Iron Man is not the first one to do this, but it's the first.
Is it called
recent
The Iron
one.
Man, or is it just called Iron Man?
Yes, just called Iron Man. But it's not the first one to do it, but it's the most recent memory that really started this trend of the Marvel movie, special and after credit scene. Like, that's why even in Ant-Man, you stay at the end to see what happens.
Look, I think if you stayed for Ant-Man, no, I'm kidding. I like it.
Hey, Ant-Man was great. Real quick, just because we're talking about this now.
Is this a Marvel moment for you,
this is
Daniel? Okay.
It is.
Marvel
It is.
moment with Daniel.
It's like you're mentioning, it got established with Iron Man, but it's come full circle now with Spider-Man: Homecoming. Anybody that's seen that and sat through the whole credits for Spider-Man: Homecoming, they literally are essentially it's a self-parody of end credit sequences and literally mocks you.
It does
about
it
who's
does
the idiot that would sit in the chair.
It's like Ferris
waiting
Bueller,
for
where it's like, hey. It's over. Go home. What are you doing here?
That's a good
The
point.
movie's over.
I was trying to think, what's a good non-Marvel example? Of course, Ferris Bueller is actually an excellent example. And that's an older movie, quote unquote.
Which Spider-Man also references.
It could be so old. It could be so old that some of us may have never even seen that film.
Oh,
So,
Daniel.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you at least saw that clip in Spider-Man, so I mean, that's part of the movie.
I don't remember the clip
When he's running
but I
through
assume I
the
saw it.
backyards, it's playing on a TV because there's a scene in Ferris Bueller where he runs through the backyards. You would
Right.
know that if you'd seen Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, and there's that scene in Generations where the Enterprise B is teetering, and he drives it right through the space dock, and he's like, "Oh, my dad's gonna kill me."
You saying the end of Generations is like the end of Ferris Bueller? Because I can see the parallels, and not the episode.
See,
but-
I know Matthew Broderick from the terrible 2000 Godzilla film. And that was about
So
it.
is it-
Generation
Yeah,
no.
Connection, Alan Ruck as the Enterprise B captain.
That's
is
why
Cameron
I had the
Ferris
Enterprise
Bueller.
B teetering,
Oh.
like his
Oh,
car.
I thought you were talking about the Enterprise D crashing at the end because that's what I
No.
think of when I think of crashes. But anyways, it's all full circle. But so what we're gonna do is we're going to imagine and come up with end credit sequences or after credit sequences for all the Star Trek movies. Some will probably be pretty apparent since some lead directly into others, but others we could throw some interesting twists at. So what I think we'll do is we'll kind of all hypothesize and then kind of
What if?
yeah, and then come together for a consensus for each one. So we're not making 3 times 13 because that's a lot. Now, some ground rules. I've heard that ground rules are important, and some of my co-hosts demand them. You aren't allowed to necessarily like change something that happens in the next movie, but you can add a scene that like would is fitting in between them, or establish. It's okay to like establish a character early or hint at something that we know is coming, but you can't be like, oh, Cybok's gonna die because before the movie happens
Because the fans want it.
Because the fans want it. Yeah, exactly. So that's the plan. And also we're not moving anything into the end credits, so we're not changing the actual movie. So the motion picture, all 3, 4, 5 hours of it ends like it does, and we have our after credit.
We're not going to Lucas it, is what you're saying.
No, we're not gonna. Well, they've already made enough changes that we don't need to focus on that. So no changing the actual movie. The movie stays on its own. Now, I've helped my cohorts here by providing some screenshots from the ends of each movie because it's been a while since I've watched all of these. So I don't have the actual
For shame.
writing.
Shame.
Oh, no shame. Okay, so let's start with Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Sorry, Star Trek 1. The motion picture.
No, it's not called Star Trek. It's like no one called it World War I at the time.
So we end.
Go ahead. You're gonna stop.
I was gonna set the scene. Yeah. So the movie ends. Decker merges with the Creator and Ilea, and everything turns into a brilliant ball of light around the Enterprise.
Leslie?
That'll happen often. And so the Enterprise, the refit Enterprise, sails out, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. It literally and then flies off into like everyone's happy and it flies off onto its next adventure. Like there's not a lot of wrap up. It's pretty much they have the climax, the movie's over. And the Enterprise is off for parts unknown.
The human adventure is just beginning, I believe.
Yeah, the music swells and everyone's happy that the Enterprise is giant on screen.
I have let me start then because this is the one I got most excited for, which is very surprising to me because I do not
You're
like
gonna make this movie longer, Daniel.
Well, because now we sat through a couple hours of credits for all those special effects, and then then it fades up.
I would say this would be the mid credit sequence because nobody wants to wait until. I mean, it can be the only one.
The special effects credits alone are the whole movie, I believe. So.
Yeah, and we can,
Okay,
and that's
so-
fine. I mean, I think we'll just do one per. So whether it's mid credits or end credits, we'll still only do one per movie.
So it's pretty obvious in retrospect, but I got really excited thinking about it. So of course, at the time you wouldn't know that this was going to happen. So you're watching the credits for 25 hours, and then finally you get to the scene, and it opens up on this like this beautiful planet. Let's just like an Eden, just to follow through with the analogy that we're going with here. And there's this like perfect society of super attractive, well put together people. They, to the untrained eye, you would even say they may be genetically modified, but it doesn't matter because they have a perfect society. Everybody's happy. There's no wars or famine or anything, and everybody's having such a great time, and it's amazing and wonderful. And then of course we I don't know if we zoom in or we cut to these two people madly in love, and everything's so perfect, and he's the best guy in the world, biggest chest you've ever seen. And of course, I was thinking if we could tie it into the whole V'ger cloud thing, and like I don't know if the V'ger becomes responsible for it, or we can cut that part out. It doesn't matter. At the end, of course, they look up into the sky. They see the nearby planet explode. There you go. End credits. You set up for Wrath of Khan. And you're good to go.
And the only thing I would add is as they're pulling out like a really high altitude shot of seeing the planet explode, you see the Botany Bay like embedded in the landscape, like it's got foliage on it. So that's the connection that's utterly saying this is what this is.
It's like Statue of Liberty, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, you blew it up. You blew it up.
Okay, see, I was somewhere on there. I was thinking about this one in the car. Okay, so this would be the end credits. So for some reason, you stayed there for all 8 hours. And so...
Every time we say it, it gets longer.
Yes. And because, I think about it, with the Star Trek The Motion Picture, sometimes called Roman numeral I. But, I think about, and you think about all the original series movies. And Darren, I think you should appreciate this. All these movies have always been great coming togethers. You'll get a Rand, Commander Rand, who, we'll see like 5 seconds of. She's sort of the Stan Lee of the original series movies. Or even a Commander Chapel, right? But where, Darren, where are our animated characters? Where are they? We don't ever get to see them. No reference. Not even like a, hey, I wonder whatever happened. Nothing. So, we're going to solve this. But,
they did refit the ship and probably got a new crew, but... Just saying.
But they kept Sulu and Chekhov, who wasn't even there. Chekhov left and came back, What's going on there? Okay. So, everything happens. And then, and I don't know how we're establishing what happened with the Enterprise. Like, did Admiral Kirk just take it for a joyride for a week? Or was it a new 5-year mission? Or whatever. But there's sort of like you go to like a Starfleet hallway, the 70s look of the motion picture, and there's chatter. Hey, Admiral Kirk saved it again. And then you sort of have some people chattering, like, oh, yeah. And then they're like, hey, didn't you serve on the Enterprise? And then the camera kind of pans to Eric's. But Eric's is wearing the motion picture kind of skivvies, except he has the third arm. And he's sort of like, oh, yes, missed out on that one. Great job. And then they're like, oh, yeah, Commander Eric's, we're going to need your navigation skills to take this science mission. These scientists have to go over to this new planet. And Eric's just like, oh, all right, well, what's this new mission? They're like, oh, well, we're not in charge. It's this doctor over here, and like he just swerves over and he says, oh, the great terraformist, your reputation precedes you. So, Dr. Marcus, what's the mission? And it just pans up to her, and she says, well, let's just say this is the genesis of a new project.
So we're getting another pun in. Although, would that be as impactful because we don't know what Genesis is yet?
Well, we don't know what the Avengers Initiative.
Or do we even know what Carol Marcus is?
That's a little different.
Well, I know, but it's sort of like, well, who do you know? Thanos is. It leads to what's coming next.
Well, I think it's hard to make
because then what happens
Marvel is not in a vacuum.
Well, I mean, Thanos was in space, and that's a vacuum.
Yeah,
and I think,
what I mean.
And then when it goes back to Eric, he's like, "Oh, Doctor, don't worry, I think we can do it. And then it goes from there.
Oh gosh. Oh jeez. So we get dad jokes from Philip's idea.
From a CGI Eric's.
From a CGI Eric's. And okay, let's see. No, I don't know if we're voting on this.
Well, what's yours, Darren? You have not contributed to the motion picture.
I'm just gonna go with Daniel's. I like Daniel's.
I
think.
Yes, I win.
I think
watching Marvel movies over and over and over again has finally
I
paid
think
off.
it's simple. It sets it up in the same way that I mean, you do still have the Khan reveal in the Wrath of Khan, but this again teases at it. It's funny how we say cinematic universe like they're all connected. Of course they're connected. It's all Star Trek with the same crew. But okay, so we have we get to see before the fall City Alpha. I'm used to saying 3. City Alpha 5. So I like that. All right, so now it is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. We've had the Genesis planet has formed. Spock has died. Everyone's watching the viewer as the sun rises over the new Genesis planet, and we focus in on Spock's torpedo tube, not destroyed in the fiery formation of the planet, but instead nestled gently in the Valley of Eden, as it were, saying Mark V probe on the side of it. As this is almost an end credit scene. Actually, this was one of the ideas for this concept. Is it's almost an end credit scene. Like you could put this later on, but pursuant to our rules, we're not going to do that. We're going to add to this at the end as an end credit after the torpedo tube.
Okay, so I'm thinking Carol Marcus is leaving. So the Enterprise is it shows the Enterprise sort of leaving the planet. Carol Marcus is packing up, getting ready to leave. Because some science ship or courier ship or whatever is docking with the Enterprise, because somehow she has to mysteriously leave in between 2 and 3, even though it was going in the same direction between those 2 movies. But she has to just disappear. So she's leaving for whatever reason, and she's packing up her things, and maybe there's some yeoman or some crewman, and she's like, "Oh, hey, could you help me, transfer these files to the ship?" And he or she, and you don't even see who it is, sort of says, "Yes, doctor," and they take like the file, whatever. I don't know even what they used for data files back then, but anyway, I guess it's sort of like the Atari,
the little
Nintendo
Atari
chip.
cards. Yeah.
So anyway, so they're you see the person sort of walking through the ship a little. No, it's not too long, but they walk through, and you sort of see them kind of sneak off to a side room where there's sort of like a communicator thing, or a station
Intercom.
Well, no, not like an actual like screen and something.
Oh,
and they
okay.
click they put in the Atari thing, and they hit some buttons, and then some sort of like secret, like this is
Level 1 access only.
This is like Agent 4 to whatever. Do you receive the information? And then you just sort of hear like, your message is received, and then the crewman goes Kapla, and then you sort of see Klingon script on there. And then it closes.
Oh, okay. So instead of going like a Spock route, we're hinting that the Klingons know about the Genesis device.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that was kind of my only idea too. Like you said, they already give away the Spock reveal, which is obviously the most significant, and that is essentially an end credit sequence before it was an end credit sequence. So I was also thinking of like, how would we kind of set up?
We could go ahead.
Patak Brown or whatever the guy's name is. What is
Krug.
Christopher Lloyd's Klingon character? Krug.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But he's like, the thing is like, he's such not a compelling villain. It wouldn't even really be that interesting. So then my mind went to like, oh well, we could do like the backstory of his card. But then I'm like, I don't know if that would really be that interesting.
That could
either.
be the end credits. So you're titillating that the Klingons are coming. So for whatever that's worth. The mid credits, if we want to go this route, and I understand we probably don't. And I don't know. This is going to be a general concept. You all have to frame this, storyboard this. But anyway, the Spock family. I assume that's their last name, because it's Mr. Spock. Right. Receives, the terrible information, And so maybe you see, it doesn't have to actually be the actors because we can't get her for this 5 seconds, but someone who purports to be Amanda crying in the corner. And then maybe I don't know if you can get Mark Leonard, but if you can, get Mark Leonard. And so, he's as much as...
I think he's on retainer.
I think with our hypothetical, of course we can come up with Mark Leonard.
Well, we want him to be in every movie because he was technically in one. He was the Klingon, actually, if people know that. And that's not a joke; it's real. And so we got to get him in 2 here. So,
the Stan Lee of Mark Leonard is going to become the Stan Lee.
He's in 3, 4. I don't think he's in 5, but he's in 6. So he's just missing 1 at this point. So anyway, he somehow, however you comfort when you're a Vulcan, your wife. And then she looks up and says, "But what will we tell his brother and sister?" And then dunk.
Oh, man.
Let's see how that plays out before we start putting that in.
We're setting up 5, okay? And then people are not even going to understand it. And they're going to be like, what, 3 they're looking for it the whole time, and 4 they're looking at the whole time. Fans have been debating this reference for over 6 years. Like, what the hell was that all about? And then suddenly...
So what if we, instead of focusing on the Klingons, we, again, as we're leading into Star Trek 3, you start... because I think a lot of times the after credits work when they're really short or really simple, like a single scene. So we just focus in on McCoy having trouble sleeping, and he's tossing and turning, and he's, you can tell he's not feeling well. And then in a very Spock Vulcan way, just says, like, remember, like 3 times. And then that's it.
And then suddenly, like,
or his eyebrow, like, quirks. And then it's over. Like so that. Really simple. Just, it's obviously what's going to happen in the next movie, but that's the point.
Yeah, that would be really... If you don't know what happens in Star Trek 3, it wouldn't be very clear to you what Spock did in Star Trek 2. So
because they have a whole scene of like watching the tape to tell you what he did. Because again, nobody caught that in Star Trek 2.
That was good. Yeah, I like that idea.
No, I don't know if we are killing it over the head. We show his body still on the planet. It's like, in case you didn't get, he's coming back.
Well, yeah, that's
that's
okay.
The thing.
A little extra. Okay, well, maybe we can bend our rules, and that becomes the mid credit, and then the end credit is the remember.
It's tough for both Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3 because those movies are so back to back.
They are literally back to back.
It's really hard to like tease anything that you can't see coming already. So that's tough.
Well,
all right.
I know you wouldn't like this, but you could. I don't know how. I don't have an idea. I'll just say you could tease the Excelsior somehow.
That's true. We've been teasing the next movie, but I think maybe later on we might start to do more of an Avengers thing where we're teasing something that's going to happen like 4 movies down. But I don't think we're quite there.
I said brother and sister, and I got laughed at.
Yeah, but see that. Well, that's good like ideas, Phillip. Good ideas for. All right. So now we're into Star Trek 3. At the end, Spock's got his Katra back. Bones taps knowingly on his forehead, and we have the sunset shot of planet Vulcan, and the adventures continues.
All right, I got this
screen.
One. This one is a lot of CGI too, but you got to go with me. Okay, you got to remember.
All right.
This is and you'll have to help me, Daniel / Darren. Is it the Avengers? Which one do we get our first Thanos?
Oh no, we get Thanos. When
isn't it Avengers? Because it's the person's on the planet or the asteroid or whatever he's on, and like
No, because he was revealed before that because he's in Avengers when he's talking to Loki. Oh no, that's not Thanos. Isn't in Avengers because that's his right hand man. I can't remember his name. That's a good question. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
So you picture if I somehow this is my little Marvel memory.
Okay, I got post credit scenes wiki right here. So beginning with first we have Iron Man with Tony Stark, and you have Nick Fury. The Incredible Hulk has Tony Stark. Iron Man 2. You have the Hammer teasing Thor. You have the Tesseract. You've realized that he's being controlled by Loki. Captain Avengers. The cut down scene has Nick Fury relaying Steve Rogers with an assignment of worldwide ramifications. Okay, it is the Avengers.
That's Avengers.
It is the Avengers. It's a mid-credit scene. Yeah, the other life forms reveal Thanos.
Yeah. So you sort of get that.
And then the post-credit was the shawarma. That was the first time you had two.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so
That's right. Yep.
and I forget the exact. I failed person, and then Thanos says something. And you turn around, just this purple, kind of really not well done CGI. And I think he just smiles. I don't think he talks till the next after credit
he just
scene.
smiles.
Okay, so you picture that, sort of that. Okay, so this is Star Trek 3. All right, and similar.
Is the whale probe going to
Daniel?
smile?
Wait,
I mean, because I'm okay with that. But
so you have like these Klingons who are like, same thing. They're on the asteroid, the floating asteroid, in front of this big throne, and they're like, "We failed, to destroy, to the Kirk and the humans and Genesis and blah blah blah." And you sort of hear, you have that servant person who's like, "Quiet! You have failed the master. He has decided that if anyone can finally destroy Earth, it will be up to him to finish it." And it sort of turns around, and it's a whale, like Thanos. And he grins, and that's it. Exactly.
so I had an interesting idea.
I don't think it's going to be as interesting as Phillip's, but
It's probably not. It's actually going to play more towards Star Trek strengths than like Marvel wouldn't have the opportunity to do this kind of a thing because of the nature of the properties. But what I was thinking is you take a fan favorite or maybe a fan hated character. So I don't know. I don't even know who I would pick. Say you pick like Core or Harry Mudd, right? And we'll just stick. Well, here's the thing, and you could. This is why I think it would work. So you show Harry Mudd being obnoxious and doing terrible things to people, and he's like real successful, and he's like, he's rocking it, and then like he's being obnoxious to everybody, and he's just stupid and annoying, and then all of a sudden all the lights start to go out or whatever, all the power gets cut, and then you hear the whale probe noise. So he kind of gets his comeuppance at the end, and it's teasing.
Harry Mudd dies by a whale probe.
You get something from the past and from the future,
And the
and
Tribbles
it kind of
fall and
teases
eat him.
what's coming.
So I'm thinking this. All right, if you just want a quick funny one, for Star Trek 3 here, you sort of go to the Klingon bird of prey, and you maybe have just Scotty and McCoy, and Scotty's like, "Ugh, no, we've got to fly this thing home," and McCoy's like, "Well, we should name it." "Well, what do you think we should name this bloody thing?" How about Enterprise A?" "That's a ridiculous idea." Why would you ever put a letter at the end of Enterprise?
Here's my thought. If one thing we could do, at least for a couple of movies, is because it's Star Trek 3, and I say, what if we started building towards Star Trek 6? Because we have Klingons in Star Trek 3, Klingons in Star Trek 5 and 6.
And 1.
So, and 1, but it's like they hadn't thought of the cinematic universe yet at that point. So,
Okay.
So here's my thought. So at the end,
Are you saying Star Trek 1 is DC and 2 through 6 is Marvel?
No,
I think you should, because I think that makes sense
No,
in
I'm
a lot of
saying
ways.
it's pre Iron Man.
Oh, gee, I'm very okay with that.
So this is my thought. So I say we focus on now it's General Chang is the guy with the eye patch.
Yes.
Okay, because it's freaking Christopher Plummer. No, sorry, that's
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, it's
You're
Christopher Plummer, which is an awesome actor and it's a really good character. So what if I propose that we put him at the end of 3 and 5. And so at this one, he's revealing that he was in contact with Leonard Nimoy's Klingon character. And sorry, not Leonard
Nimoy.
Gosh, blanking on the name. No,
Mark Leonard?
Gosh, the Klingon
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd. It has an L. Christopher Lloyd's Klingon character, and that he's heard about Genesis. That Captain Kirk, is back on top, and so he's monitoring the Enterprise situation.
Colonel Kling.
Yeah,
Or Colonel Chang.
Yeah, sorry, Colonel Chang. Yeah. So we have Core, and he's because don't they make it apparent that he's the same Core that like fought Kirk in TOS era?
What are you talking about?
Was there ever a Core that Kirk fought in TOS?
Yeah, in Deep Space Nine.
Well, okay. Yeah.
In TOS.
Yeah.
But not in the movies.
So, but I'm just that's true. He wouldn't be in. Yeah. But they're basically establishing him though as more of an arcing Klingon that has his fingers in
I get what
the
you're
events
saying.
that are going on. So it's just really subtle, just him receiving a communique from whoever, and then he's like, okay, like the Enterprise, is now my priority. But then we don't tease it again for another movie because, or maybe we do. So that's how I would end 3 because we have enough time to 6 where it actually can build.
Yeah, you get something like Colonel, Captain Krug's mission to get the secrets of Genesis has failed. He was destroyed by
you see
ship
like
called,
a puppet master.
Yeah, your ship was called by Enterprise, and he's like, Enterprise. Sort of get like the swinging chair. Enterprise, get me everything you can about this Admiral Kirk and the Enterprise.
I like the idea of introducing him earlier. I don't like the idea of making him...
Go ahead. No, go
like,
ahead. I don't interrupt you.
I don't think his issue in 6 isn't specifically Kirk. He doesn't have a vendetta against Kirk or anything like that. The whole movie is about like how history changes and people change, and like it's not a Chang versus Kirk movie at all. So to make him like I like the idea of including him.
Well, okay, don't make it personal.
Building him up.
Make it that he's against
So like
Starfleet, that he sent out Krug because Krug was supposed to be. I don't know if he literally says it, but like I don't know if he's not really affiliated with the Empire.
Because we're not in active war with the Klingons right now. Right. It doesn't appear to be.
Yeah.
Wait. That's not canon, right?
Well,
Philip, you just made that up. He didn't actually send out Krug.
No. I'm saying Krug isn't like official. Like this is a move by the Empire to find Genesis. I think it's just him.
Right. No, it definitely was. You just the way you said it. I'm like, wait a minute, I've never heard that before. No. Even if we included that in some way, that'd be cool. But
we're establishing there's a shadow person using who's a Klingon disrupting the peace.
Yeah.
Because
that would be totally cool.
Then I don't know if we're ready to jump.
Well, because eventually, when it gets to like the fact that he's developing this secret shooting cloaked bird of prey, like that really falls in line with that. Like you can see his agenda.
I'm just saying, if we're ready to jump to 4, what you have in 4 is Admiral Cartwright meeting with our Shadow Klingon man.
Ooh,
no, that'd be cool.
Okay, the conspiracy has to begin.
Okay, so we have we establish Core in the end of 3, and then we're in 4. So 4 at the end we have Spock meeting with Sarek because we got Sarek in as our Stanley cameo, and then the big twist is the whole Enterprise A is there, and they reveal
Eat it, Excelsior.
And we'll just go right over the Excelsior to the smaller ship that we like,
which is tough because it's a it's a
not
pretty wide
ship, but not the
so.
saucer as much. It's
and then pretty much at the end, it's everyone just smiling like, "Hey, here we go off into space again." So
we're all back in our uniforms.
Yeah. So then we go back to we've been reinstated, and so now we go back to Core again. And what were you saying again? That he in this one, he's
I'm putting it together. So you have Admiral Cartwright.
Oh, he's Admiral Cartwright.
No. Yeah. So like the Enterprise A goes to warp. And you have to, in the after credit shot, blah, blah, blah. Then you have Admiral Cartwright sort of looking like, another Enterprise under Kirk's command. And then an aide's like, someone here to see you, Admiral. It's the Klingon ambassador, because the Klingon ambassador from earlier in the movie, if you remember Star Trek 4.
Right.
And so
he's like, Starfleet regulations. This is outrageous.
Exactly. And he's like, well, Mr. Ambassador, you must be
Hold the image. Hold.
You must be pretty upset now that Kirk's back in
Renegade and terrorist. Sorry, he's got so many good lines.
And so, yes, I'm
so you're expecting that.
And so like, yes, I am outraged. But the message from you earlier that we can work together, and then suddenly his anger turns into a smile, has made me very glad, or something like that.
Right.
And so
as much as it pains me to incorporate Star Trek 5 into...
Do it. We have to establish one. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have to have 5.
Because it's so random.
But
if we don't somehow explain 5 in the 4 after credits scene, the movie just
Because there's
remains.
also a Klingon ambassador in that one.
If we want to...
It's retired
say,
general, but yeah.
We want to incorporate this... If we want to incorporate this Chang storyline across 4 and 5 and 6...
He's going to send out Claw, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
he sends
what
out
I'm
the
thinking
other
is...
one. I mean, we make them less that they're like rogue.
I feel like these are all like
Klingons.
these are all his nephews or whatever that he sends out.
Okay. So actually, I would
Yeah.
suggest something a little more sinister, a little more secretive. That maybe Cartwright and
Core.
Chang.
Chang.
There's no core,
Chang.
Darren. Just
Chang.
flesh
I'm
it out
sorry.
of your mind.
I mean,
Yeah,
there is, but
Chang.
he's not involved.
There's a Colonel Chang or General Chang, or however rank he has at this point.
Yeah.
So let's say that at the end of 4, everybody gets together and there's this talk of, and I hate this planet name
Nimbus
so much.
3!
The planet of intergalactic.
Okay, the humans named it. Okay,
right,
the
so
humans named it. Let's
Actually,
just
I don't know if it's
put
a
that out there.
Romulan name, because...
Something got lost in translation.
So there's all this talk, right? And everybody on the Federation side and the Klingon side are real excited about this, and it's great. And then at the end, you cut to, this is perfect. This is Chang saying this. He turns around and Cybok is there. He's going to orchestrate everything that Cybok does.
So he's like, what if something
from
went
that point
bad on the
forward.
planet of intergalactic peace?
Exactly. So he is still trying to sabotage this peace initiative that's going on. It can be a through line throughout all of these movies, and also it makes Cybok slightly less stupid.
Well, he's a puppet, which is fine. Yeah.
He would be a puppet.
I'm trying to figure out some line of where we are at the end of 4. Okay. Because 4 is such a cool movie, it's hard to be too downer about it.
Yeah.
Have a down
No,
there.
it just
but I'm trying to
we
say
establishing Cartwright meeting with Chang, right? Or he's meeting with the ambassador.
yeah.
Cartwright and Cartwright and Chang are meeting,
Like
and
dark, shadowy
and one of
room.
them, probably Cartwright. Probably Cartwright is kind of freaking out a little bit. He's like, "Look, there's peace talks are moving forward. This is serious. The Romulans are on board. There's going to be a summit.
And then
what do we do?
General Chang
How do
is
we
like,
stop this?
don't worry. Sometimes you just have to have a little faith. Isn't that right? And then Cybok walks out.
Oh, yeah. I'm picturing like a dark room with a single light down the middle, and only if you step into it do people see you. So
Yes.
it starts with General Chang there, and then Cartwright steps in, and that's what's Cartwright doing? And I think Cartwright should say something along the line of, "Now's a good time to strike because like the Federation just got shook." I mean, it basically, with the whale probe and everything. It was pretty much game over. I mean, the president put out a general distress
Game
call.
over, man. Game over.
Yeah, but and then we have Cybok come out at the last moment. Okay, moving on to 5.
Oh lordy, how we saw this train wreck.
So it ends with handshakes all around, the galactic barriers in the background, and we row your boat gently down the stream.
No, I just feel like there has to be like some sort of apology. How do we do it? Who's giving it? How are they giving it? Okay, sorry, I'm kidding.
Okay, so it ends and it's lighthearted, but Cybok's dead. So okay, we go back.
Well,
Cybok's joined with
is
the
he?
Shockery.
He is one. He is one
Yeah.
with the Creator.
Yeah. And so now we go back to we could just keep all of these in like a dark room, and we go back to General Chang.
Well, it's sort of like the
and-
Thanos. We keep going back to the asteroid.
Yeah. So it's General Chang, and now we're going to be prompting 6, which, what if, do we want to say he's
So I have an
responsible
idea.
for Praxis?
I have an idea. Yes, that's my idea. So
why would-
what's
Why,
going to
though?
happen
That's
is they're
like-
going to... So, okay. So we're going to be in this room, and
Right.
they're going to be talking, and it's
It's
going
like a
to be...
Klingon war room.
Hey,
basically, yeah.
the whale probe didn't stop this stuff from happening. The
And I sent my
incident
stupid
at Paradise
nephew
City.
who couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
the stupid
No
Cybok
claw.
stuff
No
didn't
claw, yeah.
help our cause. So Chang at this
He's
point is at the end of his rope because
He's gonna put on his Klingon glove and be like, "I'll do it myself."
I'll do it myself. And it seems like peace with the Federation is an unavoidable outcome. And maybe in some weird twisted way in his head, he thinks if he makes the Klingon Empire desperate enough, they will go back to
the hardline elements of the Klingon
roots.
Empire are like, okay, now we're on our knees. We need to take this time to strike, to take what we can before we're dead.
Yeah, because when you're on your knees,
So
you can either beg or you can fight. And they choose to beg.
Yeah. So he thinks he decides that if this peace is going to happen, regardless of what he can do, he has to take a seriously drastic measure. So there's some button that says explode practice.
Well, I could see him giving a monologue of like, our empire's becoming too complacent. Like, look, we have unlimited energy coming from Praxis. Like, and he's like, maybe he doesn't necessarily like he mentions Praxis a lot, but he doesn't necessarily. We don't see him blow it up, but we do enough where when that starts in the next movie, people can connect the dots.
Okay, so this is you're really gonna have to, whoever does your lighting for this scene, this is gonna be their most important job, because you can have some, and I don't have, this is a concept, I don't have the dialogue, but basically you have Chang, and he's sort of revealing, light comes up on, like you said, the room, light comes up on Admiral Cartwright, we already know about, right? And then our new Romulan friends comes up, and then I'm trying to remember who else is in the conspiracy, but then anyway, and then he's like, and do you think this is enough? Don't we need an inside person? And General
I think
Chang's
that was
like,
pretty much it. It was General Chang, Cartwright, and the Romulan
and then General Chang is like, we
you're
need an inside person. He's like, I have someone, and you're gonna have to light this because you can't show too much. All you need to be able to see is the red monster maroon. Monster maroon, you just say that.
Yeah.
And the pointed ears. That's all. No.
And Kim Control.
No, you can't see
Kim Control as well.
No,
Because you almost think
I know, I'm kidding.
it might,
I'm kidding.
You think it's Saavik.
You could, or Spock.
Or Spock.
Or Spock, yeah.
Yeah, all you see is
They
the
do all have the same
haircut
haircuts.
and ears.
Ears.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay,
Oh,
now
I
we're in
know.
Star Trek.
You could just be silent and you could just see them go.
I think just the ears
Well,
and the bowl cut.
I don't know
That's
that-
all we need. They're back.
Well, because I don't want
them
them to think it's Romulan. That's my only worry.
Yeah, but the haircut gives
Okay.
it.
Well, and if they're part of Starfleet,
That's true. There
you're
are no
kind of
Romulan
pretty much
inside man.
guaranteed.
Oh yeah, this Romulan flag officer. Okay, Star Trek 6. So now
see, this is hard to do. By the way, Star
it's
Trek
come
6
all
after credits
together.
scene. Yeah.
Well, because literally you have the signatures. Like they fly into the sunset, and you have the signatures of all the. They're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Is basically what they're
This
saying.
is going to be a tough one.
But,
So yeah, Star Trek 6 is very difficult because you don't want to take the
Right.
finality.
But here's the thing, though, is Star Trek 6, though, was made after Next Gen was already on the air. So I'm just saying is we can tease that. We're basically saying you will, all this one has to say is you will get a Next Gen movie.
Well, okay. I think what you could tease, and again, you're going to have to really do this at the end. You can't do mid credits. I think you got to sit through this is really good. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
So this is the ending credits. All right. Somehow, but you got to do it in a good way because it sounds stupid if I just say it, but you got to establish Enterprise B. And because it's that we're moving on, but what does that mean? Is it a new adventure? Is it a new movie? Is it a new TV? What are we doing? And so I don't know how you do it.
Maybe like a drafting board, like that starship design area, and they have like the Excelsior but it's got some modifications, and you just see the name Enterprise with a B.
And what you could do, and then this might be cheating because I know we already used him, but you kind of said goodbye to the Enterprise. But what you could do is go to the Excelsior. You could do this with Captain Sulu, and someone's saying, Captain Sulu, how's your, someone's looking over blueprints of the Excelsior class, with Captain Sulu, and he's like, why are you so interested in the ship? And like, well, we're doing an upgrade of the Excelsior class. What do you think about this? And it sort of like wipes away and you just see NCC 1701-B or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe a communique comes in again. Keep it really simple, single scene, single character, and like it's Starfleet Command calling the Excelsior back to we need to run some tests on the Excelsior. They're designing an upgrade to reconfigure the Excelsior class. We're going to roll it out on the next line of starships, and and then after the call ends, maybe it's the cameras in the Admiral's lounge, not on the Excelsior. Sulu's only on the screen, and so then at the end it like pans down and you see like the Enterprise B blueprint, and it says Enterprise B.
Or you could be like, Captain Sulu, we're doing an upgrade. Any suggestions? And he's like, well, I've always been partial to the name Enterprise.
Oh, okay, that's even better. Even it's like super simple. What do you think of that, Daniel?
Yeah, I was. If we wanted to put a little more on the nose, I was thinking of like in the background having Harriman carrying a giant bee, like down the corridor.
That's a little on the nose, Daniel.
Put in
A
the
little
ship.
on the nose. But...
Someone's like, wait, isn't that supposed to come Wednesday?
Ah.
No, the thing is, I do think 6 is probably the toughest. Again, when you're dealing with a finale, it's kind of both like a blessing and a
people
curse.
Are also
going to
be
like you say, it is.
Sorry, if it's Enterprise B, they're like that doesn't necessarily make you think next gen. So it's going to be kind of like getting people talking.
Sure. What I would like to see is,
or you could have. Oh, go ahead. Dan. I was going to say we said goodbye to all the principals. It could be some short scene with all the tertiaries, the Rands, the Chapels, the Ericses, the Cat Girl.
Emrys.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Like,
yes.
how about, let's say that at the end scene is we somehow establish that the senior crew has disembarked, and maybe there's like a debriefing or whatever, and all this crew, and I don't know how you would really do this, but you would have Harriman coming up at some point and being like, okay, let's move on, and then some sort of dialogue there that establishes that he is now going to be in charge of the Enterprise, and doesn't have to be that ship, could be the next one, but
but I like
in
the
you
general
just see this like
that we're teasing the B and like the moving on of the Enterprise.
This young-looking lieutenant commander kid just walking aboard, and no one's around. He just sits in the chair, and it's like, Commander Harriman, what are you doing? Sorry, and he gets up and walks.
I told knock next time. Knock
out of
next
the
time.
chair.
Okay, guys. Well, as it happens sometimes, often, very often, all the time, with my super long list shows, we're going to cut this in half. Next week, we're going to talk about the other movie, starting with Star Trek Generations. How is that going to tease, who knows, a new Borg threat? Who knows what's coming after that? So if someone wanted to talk to you, Daniel, about your Whale Overlords fan fiction, where would they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at @OneUpDan. That is the number 1, not the word.
And Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you on how Sarek should appear in every movie as our Stanley cameo, where would they find
it'd be
you?
weird if we had like a new series that had him in it. I mean, that'd just be like, would be too much, right?
Everywhere, Philip.
You can
Everywhere.
find me on Twitter at NC Public Servant. That's NC for no cameos.
Boo!
All the
Boo!
cameos.
We just did an hour about cameos. What are you talking about?
And if someone wanted to talk to me about my addictions to list shows, they can find me on Twitter under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DrSciFi. Well, it's been fun talking about Star Trek movies, but maybe we'll be talking about series a little more in the future. I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Guys, this is a really great shawarma place we found here on the planet.
Oh, man. You know, who knew it was over
Space
that one
shawarma.
hill that we just never walked over? It was right there.
Guy, does that moon look like it's half destroyed?
Don't worry about it.
That's like planet.
Just eat your shawarma. Just eat your shawarma.